Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk now, formerly, or later. Instead, we have topics and guests and co-hosts that you can tune into your own reality show and be happy. 88%. And normally I say, whatever's on the news right now, you will not find here because you have plenty of places to tune in to the almost always bad news that's on, because if it bleeds, it leads. But today is the first and only maybe exception to that rule, because today, I don't know if you saw it, James, I went, you know what? We're not talking about celebrating relationships today. We're talking about celebrating the World Series winners, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm like, screw it. We're not. That's our topic today. You're the person to blame for my fandom of LA Dodgers fan, having two bobbleheads, being glued to the TV. If you told me 10 years ago or 5 years, even last year, that I'd be sitting in my freaking car, tuned into AM 570, right, listening to the game before running into a meeting, and then like literally having to tie my hand so I'm not looking at the phone, or throw at a board meeting. I threw a board meeting celebration dinner for the boss, the president, 88-year young. And one of the board members had the game on during the dinner. And I was like, what's the score? If you had told me that that was going to be my life, I would have said, no forking way. Like, I would have bet you money that I would never, ever, ever have done that. And what do you know? I not only did that, I'm so happy right now. I don't know if you saw, well, I changed the topic and I apologize. I was so excited. I didn't even send you the link. So I actually posted it right before the show that I changed the topic. So you got to go look at that. I put all of our dancing with Tommy Lasorda's bobblehead on the socials. So you can collaborate on that when you get a second, so that everybody knows you want to talk about the Dodgers. Tune in here today. Watch and listen with us. We are so excited. I am so excited. I can't believe that you're not excited. But before we do that, let's do our morning exercise of taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. It's our breakfast every morning. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And James, what are you grateful for? I'm going to take a guess.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm grateful for the greatest Dodger team that I've ever seen in my 14 years in Los Angeles that I've ever rooted for. Specifically, I'm grateful that I have this great spot to watch the game where everybody is friendly and engaged and involved. And the bartenders were just wonderful, great service all night long. So shout out to Yard House Brewing in Burbank. They did a great job hosting all of us crazy fans, and the service on an absolute bananas night was superlative. So I'm grateful that a place like that exists, and that there are servers out there and bartenders that can keep their cool and a level head when everybody around them is going nuts. It's pandemonium, baby.
I'm so grateful for sports bars. I never thought I would ever say that either. I was out in La Mirada at a mahjong tournament and finished just in time at the, I think it was the bottom of the second. And instead of driving and listening, I thought I'm going to just stop because I would love to watch. So met new friends at that bar. A shout out to Heads or Tails. It's this little bar out in La Mirada or La Habra, somewhere there. And I ended up meeting a lovely couple. He ended up buying my book, which is, God love us all. I love, and they were just so nice. So so I'm grateful for sports bars and new friends, the Dodgers. I'm grateful for my co-host who literally made me really enjoy. I mean, like, I'm getting emotional. I can't believe how happy I am. And I was always kind of one of those poo-poo on sports and why would you, that doesn't mean anything to you. But there truly is. I was thinking, if I found out that conspiracy theorists were like in all, like, there's no animosity on anything when you're a Dodger fan.
No, it's the great uniter. It really
is
together. And boy, it's such a great thing during election season to have something that unites a city. And the way that this city is rallying around this team, it's a really nice thing. It brings people together, gives you something to talk about and avoid that awkward elevator conversation. There's always something to talk about when, the Dodgers are playing the way that they do. And they're an easy team to root for because they're just so likable. The personalities on that club, they're just so easy to root for. They're just good guys on that team. And there's somebody for everybody on that ball club.
Yeah. Before we get into that, let's finish our gratitude sandwich. You're getting into the topic. So let's do a non-Dodger gratitude. I am grateful for my my Dodger colored cheap owl.
Hey, you said non-Dodger.
Right? It's no. I mean, it's clothing that I had in my closet, right? The right colors to wear because I get to go to I'm grateful that I get to go to a musical tonight that won the Tony this year. At the Pantages. And so I was like, what am I going to wear today that because I go straight out and I've got 4 meetings before I go downtown. And I thought, you know what, I can wear this and it's still a clear, fandom kind of thing. Let's go to the bottom of the button. Now that is gratitude turned inwards. What do you appreciate about yourself? And I do that because I want us to exercise our muscle of self-care, self-love, self-approval. So we're not looking for love in all the wrong places and looking for likes, literally in social media, which really is not a good measure. And you do this before you go to bed so you get a good night's sleep. So James, what do you appreciate about yourself?
I like that I'm almost always willing to do a favor for somebody and help them out, especially if it's not like a huge heavy lift. Sometimes you can do the smallest thing and it makes the biggest difference in somebody's life. And if it's not that big of a deal, why not? Why wouldn't you? So I like that I'm always looking for opportunities to do that. To that end, you may have heard this little gremlin in the background. I'm dog sitting right now and he's on the carpet writhing around playing with my other dog's toys. So if he gets a little fussy, there might be a dog in the show sitting on my lap. I got my 55-pound beast and I got this little 12-pound gremlin named Otis. And if he starts getting ornery, he's looking at me like, why aren't you playing with me? He might be on my lap and on the show. So
I would love to see him. I love Unconditional Dog, which is we try to be loving unconditionally, but we ain't got nothing. Only dogs can do that. So I'd love to see
dogs. I'll tell you, they can teach us the greatest lessons about how not to get too down, about how to love unconditionally, and so many other things.
And how to heal from grief.
Yes, they're great at it. They have emotions. There's no doubt about it. You can read it. eyes even, not just their behavior. And you know, every day is a new day for them, and they have just the right amount of intelligence. I sometimes think we humans have too much, or at least we misuse our intelligence. You know, and sometimes it's our greatest burden. Our prefrontal lobe is actually dragging our head down into a grief posture, and sometimes we got to literally lighten up the weight of our prefrontal lobe and learn from our dogs.
Absolutely. I appreciate and actually the kind of learning I was talking about on another show earlier this week is that I think dogs are great helpers because their lifespan is not like a human. So when they do go to dog heaven or a rainbow bridge or the other side or back into love, however you want to call it, I think it's tough, you know, putting Destiny, you know, putting her out of her pain was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I appreciate my ability to learn that I can heal from debilitating grief, that it's not always going to be like that. And having a pet is a real beautiful way of learning that part of yourself, that you can recover, you can heal, you can remember people and dogs and cats and sentient beings in the whole of who they are. And I am so appreciative that I know how to do that, like balancing out the grief and mourning.
Yeah,
So,
you know, it's a cliche statement to say this, but it really has helped me through some tough times to say, you know, don't cry because it's over. You know, smile because it happened. And as this is a dating show, most of your relationships will come to an end. And you know, it's all in how you frame it. I think on the way out, that determines how you move forward as you go into your next relationships, your next dating adventures. And sometimes the only choice we have this illusion of control in our lives, and it's really it is illusory. The only control we have at times is how we choose to look at the things that happen to us. So choose your perspective wisely because it can really inform so much of your happiness, I believe.
yeah. Yeah. One more thing that you appreciate about yourself, and you're all welcome to participate in breakfast with us. It's taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun is what are you grateful for outside of yourself? Bottom of the bun is what are you grateful for inside of yourself, otherwise known as appreciation. And we do this good life habit on the show. I appreciate that I know that I'm funny. Now, uh, some of you may think that well, of course, you know, you're funny, but I had to fight and own my funniness because I married someone. I chose someone who I don't know if he didn't think I was funny or our senses of humor just didn't match, which is possible. I'm learning that from dating, that you can say you have a sense of humor, but if I have to explain my jokes, then our sense of humor is missing and different. But the best part of divorce is I own my funny, and I know that I'm 88% funny. 12% of the time I'm not, but I own that, and I appreciate that about myself. Last one.
Mine's a two-parter. I love that I can get a crowd excited and get a crowd going, and that I have a voice, a resilient voice. So at the bar, I was definitely the number one cheerleader. I was going through on every big play going, this is the Church of Blue, baby. You know, praise Tommy Lasorda. This is the Church of Blue. And I'm going through the bar, high-fiving everybody, getting everyone riled up, because that's the best part about being out in community when you cheer on your team. You don't want to have a private experience. And sticking with the church theme, I once went to a church and the pastor said, he said, your, what did he say? He said, faith is, it's personal, but it's not private. It's something that, you know, you can share and feel good about. And so I was definitely spreading my belief in the Church of Blue last night. And the fact that I have enough voice to do the show is nothing short of a miracle. So I like that I have a contagious energy and ability to get a crowd going and a resilient voice.
That's awesome. I was so glad. I'll give a shout out to a girlfriend of mine. I after the meeting, and when I went into the meeting, we were 5 down, and I was like, well, we were 4 down, and then very quickly 5 down. And so I was just, looking at the bright side. We'll win when they come back on Friday here in LA. And I was resigned to that. And then when I found out we were tied, I'm like, what? So I called my girlfriend and I said, what are you doing? She says, I'm watching. Okay, I'm coming over. And I've never watched a game with her. And then there's a bar that's near her, a sports bar. And I called her, I said, let's go to the sports bar. And she's like, no, I'm already in PJs. And I almost went there where I knew no one, right?
Right.
Instead, the opposite of everyone knows your name from Cheers. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to go. And I thought I was a loud cheerer. I thought I was enthusiastic. You've heard me. I'm not as good as you, but she's worse than me. And I was so happy. I was like, whoa, and her dog, every time she gets excited, the dog goes crazy. And he had a Dodger jersey on. You'll have to go look at her. I'll have to find her. I'll show it to you. It's funnier than heck after we won. And I'll show that on here. And I'll show what James and I do too, because this is a day of celebration. If you've just tuned in, you're wondering what's going on in studio. This is Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, in my very special Thursday series called Straight Talk with myself and
James Hawthorn
here on NBC News Radio. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, but most importantly on my YouTube TV channel, where you can watch, listen, and comment. I see the eyeballs rolling in. We are talking about celebrating. We were going to talk about celebrating and the importance of celebrating in relationships. However, I'm not interested in relationships at all today. The only relationship I am interested in is my relationship with the Dodgers. And thanks to my co-host, that is a very strong relationship because I'm the proud owner of 2 bobbleheads. I keep checking the prices on eBay. I'm going to do that too.
I had 5. I got 5 of them here, actually 6 from this season. And I was thinking about putting them all together into a package if the game came back to LA, selling them all as a collective set, and using that money for a World Series ticket in case I had to go. They're all out on my dining room table, ready to go on eBay. But now that we won it, I don't have to afford a World Series ticket in LA. I think I might hang on to them a little longer, But that's how I was going to justify spending about $1,000 to go to a World Series game. I was guilty, too, of losing the faith, to continue with this church metaphor. I was guilty of losing the faith last night. I've watched a lot of baseball. I know that it's highly improbable that when your starting pitcher only makes it an inning and a third when you're counting on him to go 5 innings, and we had a bullpen game the day before, that I'm like, we're not going to get through this game without being bludgeoned. This is coming back to LA. Because I had watched a lot of baseball. I knew the facts. I knew the data. But you know what?
Which is why we're talking about it today with you. Of all the people that I could talk about the Dodgers who actually understood the game and the Dodgers, I thought this would be a wasted opportunity if we talked about freaking relationships today.
But you know what? There are parallels. There are parallels to be drawn. Otis, come here, buddy.
Oh, that's the Otis.
That's awesome. If he keeps it up, I'm going to have to put him on my lap. But you know what? I might know a lot about baseball, but the game isn't played on paper. It's not played with data and facts. It's played with heart and character. Otis, come here, buddy. Come here.
Absolutely.
Not coming over.
And we're going to take a quick break for traffic news and weather, but we'll be right back. With more of Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn, soon to be Otis as well.
Celebrating the World Series winners, the Dodgers.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And this is our very special Thursday series called Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn and Otis, my little
Otis.
gremlin.
Let me see him. Hey, Otis.
Otis.
Is this the little one?
Shy.
Oh, he's shy.
He's my
So
little
Otis
12-pound
is going to
gremlin.
help. Otis is going to help us with today's show, celebrating the Dodgers. If you haven't heard, is the World Series winner yesterday in Game 5. And anything I know about the Dodgers, I have to give credit to 3 people. One you see on the screen right now, James Hawthorn, and then my bonus mom and dad, who are 94 and 91, and they're huge. They've been married 73 years, going on 74. They're huge sports people. And so I have learned how to understand and watch baseball and the Dodgers, the Ducks and hockey, and the Lakers and basketball because of that. And then, of course, the universe gives me a co-host who not only is a Dodgers educator, he also gets me to the games to get bobbleheads. So I am. And we forgot to thank you for joining us for breakfast. I would love it if you continued this good life habit for the next 28 consecutive days. This hashtag Blisscipline, sandwich your day in the most positive way. I'm too excited. I forgot the order of things today.
Okay. You know, I going back to not having the faith and thinking I know so much about baseball, the Dodgers aren't going to come back and win this thing, you know, but the team Dave Roberts said it best in the post game. He's their manager. He says, we were not going to be denied. We had 26 guys in there that just were not going to be denied, put their foot down and said, we're going to make this work. We're going to keep clawing away. How special it is, I'll just to let people know how incredible of a win it was. Never in World Series history has a team come back from 5 or more runs down to clinch the title. So the Dodgers made history in that. Then they also lost the lead again and fell behind 6-5, came back to win at 7-6. Never in World Series history in any game, not just a clinching game, championship clinching game, has a team come back from 5 runs or more down, lost the lead again, and then still won. So the Dodgers made 2 kinds of comeback win history last night.
That's really amazing. I am going to, just for fun, show you where was I when the Dodgers won last night at my girlfriend that I was just telling you about, and what we were doing when it won. Okay. Oh dear. Is it frozen on your end?
No, I saw a good 10 seconds of it.
Did
I think
you?
you got your 10,000 steps in last night.
There we
in the
go.
form of dancing on the bed.
See the dog?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I had to shut it off because she swears right there, and I don't need to have to edit it. But isn't that hilarious?
You guys are partying like it's a high school slumber party, and last year's prom king just agreed to take you out on a romantic trip to Sicily.
No, better than that. Better than that. It was so fun. There really is now in my top 8 list of things that I love to do. Like people say, you know, what do you love to do? Watching a sports team win with a friend hands down, one of my top 8. There's that feeling. It gives me hope for, because I've been asking myself, what are my discovery dates, that in that phase before deciding whether you want to go on a date, challenged me, because I said, I'm looking for someone who will convince me that there is benefits to having a relationship at this point in life. And he said, well, it sounds like you're the one that needs to be convinced first without someone. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to unmatch him right now. No, I'm kidding. I am tempted, but he had a point. It's not up to them. To be perfectly honest, when I do go on the date with the guy and I do start talking to someone and they want to talk and I'm busy and I'm thinking to myself, and what are you doing? And do I really want to? I really, really, really love my independence and my time. So, going back to our straight talk, when we talk about relationships and dating, it was one of those moments where, okay, maybe I should stop doing this until I'm completely convinced that it would bring me something that I don't already have. But on the other hand, I give advice saying there's nothing like a romantic, intimate relationship. You can't get it from your kids or your parents or your friends or whatever. So, why are you keeping yourself from that added dimension of your life? But jury's out. There's still a couple on deck. My strikeout history has been amazing. So we'll see. But anyways, back to the Dodgers.
But,
so I want to ask you a question that I didn't understand.
Okay.
When there was a lot of criticism, especially before the game started or at the beginning of the game, the announcers were bagging on Dave Roberts, the manager, for the pitcher order. And you were talking about bullpen. It was a bullpen game. So I don't know what that is. And I love learning new things. So help me understand that.
Sure. Now, was that yesterday's game that you're speaking of?
At the beginning of yesterday's game, but I think the talk started the game before when the Yankees won. And as much as I wanted us to take it in 4, I was kind of happy that the Yankees won because they're a great team. And I kind of felt bad that they were not showing their best side. So in a weird way, I was glad that they won. I thought it was important for them to win, not necessarily, and I wanted them to come back to LA to win for sure. But I was afraid, as a psychologist, I know about momentum. As a student of the law of attraction, I know about momentum. If they had taken yesterday's game the same way they took game 4, what was the 11 to something? It was a wide spread. I was afraid that momentum would lead to a reversal of, our not, it would not end up the way it did.
Momentum is very valid and important and true, especially in sports. So all of your research and everything, there is still, I believe, so much science that we haven't discovered yet. So for now, it's in the realm of philosophy until we figure out that secret sauce that is momentum and law of attraction and all of that. But everybody talks about it in sports as if it's as real as the sky is blue. And especially in a 7-game series where every game is so important, the momentum is a real thing. And it's not just game by game, it's pitch by pitch, play by play. If someone makes a great play in the field, even down by 3 runs, that can be enough to get the team pumped up. If the team's, looking a little lethargic and some guy lays out for a catch and sacrifices his body, it makes everybody else crank up their focus, their commitment level. He said, and they say, all right, we're not going to take off a single pitch. When we're in that batter's box, we're blocking everything else out and just going to put the barrel of the bat to that ball. To answer your question about the bullpen game, I'll explain that a little bit for fans that were watching and the strategy that goes on. When people say baseball is boring, they don't understand the chess that's going on in addition to the sport. Baseball is like a really athletic thing that meets chess, and it's somewhere in the middle. So the Dodgers have one fewer starting pitchers available, meaning the guys that pitch the most of the game, ideally, if they're pitching well, than the other teams due to injury. So they have to deploy a lot of bullpen guys, or what are called low leverage guys. So bullpen guys, they come in, they're called relief pitchers. They come in to provide relief when the starting pitcher is getting tired or not performing well. The bullpen game is when they just run guy after guy after guy out because they simply don't have a starting pitcher that is ready to go that given day. Now, we still expect to go out and win that game, but every guy has to perform to the best of their abilities, and the team strategizes, okay, which guys in the Yankees lineup out of those 9 guys, if you're thinking about a particular pitcher on the Dodger, what are the 3 hitters that this guy is best equipped to take down? So the order is usually based on that, but sometimes the game doesn't unfold in the way that you plan. If guys get on base, et cetera, or if somebody is not pitching well and doesn't have their best stuff. So if the announcers were criticizing Dave Roberts, they may have been saying, why is he putting all these low leverage guys out there, meaning not our best relievers right up front? And the reason for that is if we lose the game anyway, after putting all these guys out there, then we have nobody for today's or yesterday's game. So Dave Roberts should look really smart now because our starting pitcher only went an inning and a third, and we were expecting him to go 5 innings. But luckily, all the high leverage arms, our top relief pitchers, were rested and ready to go. Because 2 days ago, that game got out of hand really fast. And while Dave Roberts wasn't waving the white towel, he was being strategic and saying, okay, I'm going to use my relief pitchers, a couple of rookies, actually, a couple of pitchers that one of them only had 4 innings of postseason experience in his whole career. And he
Which one was that?
Huh?
Which one was that?
Ben Kasparius, the blonde-haired guy,
Okay.
pitched early in the game. And he only had 12 innings total of major league experience, which is nothing. But we needed him because of due to injuries to everybody else. So he came in. And then luckily Landon Knack came in and gave us 4 strong innings and gave us a shot to claw back, but we just couldn't do it. So Dave Roberts looks really smart because then when we need them the most to clinch the series, which was yesterday, our high leverage arms were ready to go. So that's the chess match. When do you put all your chips on the table and when do you hold them back? Now, yesterday's game, they were giving Dave Roberts grief because they were saying he's deploying all these arms too early in the game. How's he going to get through 9 innings? Otis, come here, buddy. Come here.
He's agreeing with you. He's agreeing with you. And we got a finger, by the way. Thank you very much. You got a finger for your expertise. Not that finger, but this finger. Thank you. We love it when you react to us here in studio. If you've just tuned in, you're wondering what's going on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show that's gone 652 consecutive weeks now. We are on show number 1,159, but 1,259, but who's counting? We are on Thursday with my very good looking co-host, Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn, and I have to get Otis back on my lap. So hold that thought.
Absolutely.
On the lap to be quiet. I
Absolutely.
don't know what I was into when I agreed to dog sit this program. Right
He's
back.
Dog sitting, and so we're getting a little fan noise in the back. But while he's doing that, I think I am going to go and show you what James does to get me to become a Dodger fan. And this is a little clip I just put together because he is because we were going to talk about what happened to that? We were going to talk about, let's see. Do I have that?
Yeah, I see that.
Did you see that? Was it going?
No, it's
Oh, there we go.
still.
Here we go.
Let's go Dodgers, let's go. Let's go Dodgers, let's go. Let's go Dodgers, let's go. Let's go Los Angeles Dodgers, we gonna win.
Remember that?
LA
Oh, how could I forget?
we gonna win. Let's go Dodgers, let's go. Let's go Dodgers, let's go. Let's go Dodgers, let's go. Let's go Dodgers, let's go.
How's that for you?
I love it. I love it. That's what I was doing last night. In fact, when the game was over, my friend's very strong. He scooped me up in his arms and spun me around, and my feet didn't touch the floor for a good 3 minutes after the Dodgers victory. It's what happens a lot of times on the last pitch. The catcher will come running out from behind the plate and jump into the pitcher's arms, or vice versa. So me and my friend had our version of that. Just to finish my point on that, on yesterday's brilliant management of the bullpen, everyone's like, what's Dave Roberts doing? He's not going to have enough arms.
Right.
He's going through everybody too quickly. But what we all didn't know at home is that Walker Buehler, normally you need 4 days of rest after starting a game if you want to avoid injury before coming back in and pitching again. After just 1 day rest on the bus, Walker Buehler says to the general manager, the assistant general manager, and Dave Roberts, the manager, says, guys, I'm ready if you need me. And they were all saying, they're like, okay, Walker, patting him on the head, saying, love the spirit, not going to do it. And he says, well, if things get squirrely, I'm going down to the bullpen. You give me the ball. And Buehler had a terrible season. A league average earned run average is like maybe 4.4, and Walker's was 5.38, which means he's given up a lot of runs per game, coming back off his second elbow surgery. So like his stuff, the quality of his pitches, not as good as it used to be. He had to relearn how to pitch this year. Then all of a sudden the postseason comes and this guy is lights out. He didn't give up a run in his last outing. He didn't give up a run against the Mets in the previous series. And then he comes in to close out the game on just 1 day rest. And he's risking injury. I mean, he's coming off of his second elbow surgery. He has another. That's it. His career is over at age 30. And because no one has had 3 Tommy John surgeries and still pitched. So that kind of heart, that kind of character. We didn't know that Dave Roberts had that last bullet in the gun. And that's how Dave Roberts called it. That was his last bullet. After that, he was going to have to go to 2 other guys he really didn't want to go to. But he put all of his chips on the table and said, we're winning it, and we're winning it right now. We are protecting this 1-run lead. Anybody, myself included, who has bashed Dave Roberts in the past for bad bullpen management in the postseason, that was Dave Roberts' first few years. That is not Dave Roberts now in his 9th year as a manager. So kudos to him.
Wow. That's great, because I never understood that expression. It was a bullpen game, or the outcome or this, is a bullpen strategy. So now I understand that. Thank you very much for teaching me something new. I've always loved Dave Roberts. I don't know. He's got this energy that I really like. And, he calls it a poker face. I think he has like a baby face, and he just has this, I just love him, second to my boy, who's Will Smith. And my dad's favorite, my bonus dad's favorite is Freddie Freeman. And he just, and then my mom's favorite is Otani. And I have 2 bobbleheads, Hernandez and Yamamoto. So those are, and then Mookie. I love Mookie. And I was so mad when those stupid idiot
tried to
people
pry the ball out of the glove
pry,
after he made a clean catch.
They could hurt him. They were trying to take, that's his catching hand. They could have hurt his hand. His
it
wrist.
is all in the wrists and fingers. And, more than his catching hand, they could have hurt his ability to hit if they snap his wrist or snap. I mean, he made a clean catch. and they were trying to pry. One was holding onto his arm, and the other's trying to pry the ball out. Now, luckily, the Yankees did the right thing and kicked the fans out of the game, because you can't do that. And everybody was talking on sports radio how they should be banned for at least half of next season too, because that kind of interference is intentional and deliberate. It's not like an accident. Oops, I reached over and got excited. My bad. They were like holding on to him, trying to, I mean, that was like thuggery. It was like, you know, what you'd expect on the New York subway or something, getting robbed or mugged.
It was dangerous. And I think they should be banned forever, only because when I heard they were only banned for one game, I was like, what? Although it was the best game, and I'm glad that they weren't there. Or in a way, I wish they were, you know, because they deserve the humiliation more than anybody else. I felt, you know, compassion for the, you know, they didn't win, you know. So but they deserved to feel like crap because of what they did. And I'm not Sue happy kind of person. You know, if I trip and fall, the first thing I do is like look around and I'm embarrassed. I'm not thinking about suing whoever, you know, owns the place that I just fell. I feel like an idiot. That's the old way. The new way is, you know, who can I sue? But in this particular case, I would definitely go, that was so wrong on so many levels that, you know, Mookie, go after them. I mean, that really was totally malicious. That was, like you said, it wasn't accidental. It was malicious, intent to harm. So anyway.
It was. Hold that thought. I'm sorry about the Otis distraction.
That's
I
okay.
Last night, so I didn't know what I was in for. Hang on one second. I'm going to try to put him on the couch and let Tux entertain him.
Absolutely. And I get to go to the Cashew Gallery, and we have Dean here. Good to see you too. Dean Sexton, longtime supporter out in the IE. I do remember you, Dean. You were so kind when I did my book signing at the Barnes & Noble in Riverside. And you helped me, I think, carry books in or do something. I remember that. So good to see you here. We're talking Dodgers. We're not talking celebrating relationships, which was the original topic. But because of what happened last night, those of you who slept through it or were not paying attention or are not baseball fans, I was never a baseball fan myself, and I just can't even believe I'm talking the way I'm talking. But I have definitely fallen in love with the Los Angeles Dodgers. There is a celebration. I just found out that it is. There's two things: the parade itself. And I guess they were robbed of a parade during COVID, which is why they keep saying we're getting a parade. I know the mayor, Karen Gunn, is going to kick them off downtown. There's a route that is on MLB.com. I can pull that up. They also have a celebration at Dodger Stadium. They're saying that you cannot go to both. And if you go to the one downtown, please use public transportation, which I'm a huge fan of now too, since I had that car accident and tried out the bus system. Love the bus system. The drivers are so nice. The riders are courteous. So in case you're thinking of going, take public transportation or buy the tickets, and part proceeds are going to an organization that I actually interviewed when I interviewed Clayton Kershaw. So this was before I was a Dodger fan. I had no clue that he was greatest of all time. I got to get a soundbite from him and his wife, who are very involved in that foundation. I also met the president of that foundation when I was doing my broadcast. I do freelance for a New York news agency and get sent out to cover, and I get to pick the ones that I like to go to. And I don't do the bus chasing, accident chasing, natural disaster chasing, but I choose the stories that balance out all the bad news with good news. And one of them was going and seeing them in action with the kids, using the funds in the LA Dodgers Foundation to help kids from underserved communities love baseball. And that was a great organization. So I'm so glad that proceeds are going to them. I don't know where to get the they said they're going to post something. Stay tuned on how to get the tickets. I wish I could do an Asian Oprah giveaway and give some of those tickets away, but I don't think we have enough time to set that up. But I'm guessing that you're going to try to be there, James.
Yes, I'm thinking about actually going to Dodger Stadium and getting a ticket for that, because you can see the whole parade on the big jumbo screens, and that way you can have a nice comfy seat, and then they have a whole ceremony at the stadium. To me, that's where I would be putting my money. Sorry for the change of locale. Trying to catch Otis was like herding chickens, herding cats, trying to catch a chicken. So instead I said,
no worries.
You bark away. I let Otis bark away inside, and I decided to come outside. So I outsmarted that little bugger for now.
Yeah, no worries. And I'm looking for something new information wise, but I don't see it yet.
Yeah, Dodgers.com is the team website, just Dodgers.com.
Okay.
And I was looking for tickets this morning. I did not see them yet, but if you just Google World Series parade tickets, hopefully links will pop up for you. But Dodgers.com is that site. And as we talked about a few weeks ago, I gave you the challenge to not just rely on swipes, but to meet people out in the wild, as I call it. And what a great opportunity to maybe meet your next date by going to the Dodgers parade. Talk about happy people and good vibes. So, guys, it's a free date opportunity. So go out and check it out. That's what I'm thinking. Everybody's there and in a good mood. Sometimes you go on a date and you don't know if you're going to be in a good mood or if they're going to be in a good mood. I promise you, everyone's going to be in a good mood tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Bid on Otani, Yamamoto, and bets. I have Yamamoto stuff.
Yeah.
So are you looking at this? Let's see.
Yes, let's see.
There we go. Yeah, we are. So this is the Dodgers.com you were talking about. Here's some this is so beautiful. Let's see if I can get this to play. There's no sound on this, so I'm not quite sure why. But I have to accept the cookies maybe. There we go. There we go.
And then you have to hit.
Game 5. It's the Dodgers a strike away from a championship, from a proper celebration. Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
Ricky!
They cap off their 8th World Championship with a comeback for the ages.
Look at that photography.
To win it 7-6 in 5 games in this clash of the Titans. The Dodgers over the Yankees, and Walker Buehler of all people, who was questionable even to make the postseason roster down the stretch. Comes on.
Teoscar Hernandez, you have his bobblehead.
Yeah, I do.
And saves game 5.
Mookie.
It's the largest comeback win in a clinching
And Dave,
game
so
in the
happy
Series
for Dave
history.
Roberts.
I am so happy for him as well. That's just, I just, it's going to be one of those, where were you?
I mean,
And you saw,
they overcame so
and
many
you saw
odds.
where I was. Oh, I got to stop that one. Let's see. Dean, do you got any questions or comments? I know there's other people who are tuned in, but they haven't put anything in the chat, so I can't call you out. We're just having a great post celebration, continuing celebrations of the Dodgers win of the World Series yesterday. And of course, I'm super happy because it's the 8th win. And y'all know, I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese in my Dodger Chi Pao, which is a lucky number. It's a homophone for good fortune. So definitely huge good fortune for the Dodgers and the 2024 World Series winner. And I just have to say, to the Yankees, it was not, definitely not what you had wanted. And I am sorry that there wasn't a more all the talk of the, this huge, I probably, correct me if I'm wrong, James, this is like one of the most historical matchups. You want to talk about East Coast, West Coast. You want to talk about, two great ball teams to be matched up in the World Series. I don't know if
It's arguably, you talk to any sports fan, you would be hard pressed to find someone say there is a bigger rivalry in professional sports. Yankees Dodgers is probably the oldest, longest running, and probably the biggest rivalry in all of professional sports, not just baseball. So I'll definitely say that. They're the bobbleheads. Teoscar Hernandez and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I love baseball. It's such an international game. If you look at the nationalities of all the guys on our team, it's just really cool. So when they say World Series, yes, it might be played in the U.S., but players from all across the globe are on these teams. It's the best of the best from all around the world playing on these 30 professional teams. And it's so great because that the fans of these players in their home countries are all tuned in and watching, and they have reason to celebrate too. So I love the international component of it as well.
I heard a statistic yesterday, I think, that showed Shotani, right?
Shohei Ohtani.
That he was the most recognized name in Japan right now, which means he overtook my twin sister, who was the most recognized name, Keiko Matsui, in Japan. So that was like, they can have it together. She's a Billboard #1 jazz artist, and she's a really good friend and has been on my show like 5 times. She launches her #1 albums and songs here, so I got to give a little shout out to Keiko. But certainly, and the bittersweet part of the whole Shotani. Why do I always think I'm saying that wrong? Because it's O-A. Am I? Okay.
You're amalgamating his first and last name. So it's Shohei is his first name, and then Ohtani is the last name.
Oh, that's why.
Shohei.
Oh, I'm doing a Shotani.
Yeah, you're putting it
I'm
together.
making it one word. Okay.
It might catch on. It might catch on.
Yeah, it might. It might.
Right now his nickname is Showtime because, he always delivers. But, Shotani is not a bad way to go. Otis found me, so I don't know if you could hear him in the background. So now I have to hide again from this little dog.
Okay. So this is funny. But because, I hear grumblings, he's paid so much, didn't perform, blah, 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 blah. And he performed really well all season, and it gave a chance for other people to be recognized, and it is a team effort. So in that sense, if you don't have anything nice to say, keep your mouth shut.
And baseball doesn't work that way, or just because you're the best player on the planet, everybody is susceptible to hot and cold streaks. Baseball is a very streaky game. Even consistent performers get hot and cold. And, it's such a feel thing, hitting a ball, throwing the ball exactly where you need to do it. And sometimes that feel, for whatever reason, eludes you. And these players they're scouring over video, slow-mo video of their mechanics, working with the coaches, trying to get it back. It's not from lack of trying, I'll tell you that. So whenever you're judging your team or your players, just remember this great ball player named Eddie Murray. He said it shouldn't be called baseball. The game should be called adjustments. Because just when you think you figured it out, the pitchers figure out how to pitch to you differently, and then you're getting out all over again, and you got to adjust. And the only way you have a successful career is adjust. He said it shouldn't be called baseball. It should be called the sport of adjustments. So these guys are constantly trying to stay as sharp as possible and deliver for our entertainment.
Yeah,
They feel the pressure
yeah.
of their contracts. You better believe it.
Right. And I now appreciate more, and I got a finger on my comments earlier. Thank you very much. Not that finger, but this finger. But the whole pitching thing, the wear and tear on the shoulder and the elbow and the arm, I didn't really appreciate that until you took me to the practice. What's that called?
The bullpen, a
The
bullpen
bullpen.
game. And we watched the starting pitcher warm up, and you got to see how violent of emotion it is, how fast that ball is coming out.
97 miles an hour. And when you get hit by that ball, I have a new appreciation of how much that hurts. You know, that poor catcher, not my boy, when that ball went up. Did you see that? I was like, oh, I'm surprised he's not like screaming, because yeah, those were family jewels that were definitely like gonna hurt.
Catchers are the toughest people on the field. They get so banged up by the end of the season. I mean, you'll see welts on their body that are days old, weeks old, baseball-sized welts, and it's not an easy sport. It's not an easy game, and there's so much. If you're listening to this today and you're thinking, "Oh, baseball's boring," take some time to learn the strategy, because just like any other game, when you understand the strategy, it becomes so rich, and there's so much going on between the lines. Hey, I'm going to give a closing thought since we've only got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
If you need a pick-me-up out there, just go to Dodgers.com or MLB.com. Just watch any of the videos of the on-field celebration, the in the clubhouse celebration. Watch these grown men with wives and children acting like elated little boys, and it will pick you up. So if you need to pick me up, go watch those videos, because it's an epic day for LA, and I hope to see you at Dodger Stadium tomorrow or at the parade.
Absolutely. And a big shout out to Shohei, who proved somebody reported that he was getting a lot of grief in Japan because they were believers in you can only do one thing well, and you shouldn't split your energies into two things, and you can't do two things well, which I think is bullshitaki. I've been trying to encourage everyone in life, all 8 billion of us, to, you can't do, jack of all trades, master of none. That's bullshitaki. You can do more than one thing really well. I'm so grateful to him. That's my final word for showing that is true. Maybe not in the World Series necessarily, but all season long. I'm so appreciative to you, James, for making me a Dodger fan and understanding the game better. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Tomorrow, Hollywood Rebel Report with Ricky Rebel. Now go and have the best day ever. Go Dodgers.
Yeah, bleed blue.
Congratulations. Woohoo!
Take back your